Hey, what's going on, my friends out there? I'm Jakejames Lugo, and welcome to Gamers with Gains. Now, a lot of big stuff to talk about right now. Seems to be a lot of different Nintendo leaks happening all over the place, including the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo that got leaked out that's still unplayable in some capacity. But we also have a whole bunch of Nintendo NX rumors that are fresh out the oven right now. Again, there's still rumors, and there isn't a whole lot of confirmation to go around from specific official sources, like Nintendo themselves, for instance. But a lot of this information has been verified from the people that have been putting it out there. They've been talking to a bunch of different people, including a major retail outlet that spilled a whole bunch of beans on a bunch of information regarding the Nintendo NX. Now, in the description box below, I'm going to have a link to the Reddit post because I'm going to go through each one of the points here that they talk about and discuss them so you'll be able to follow alongside of me. But there's a lot of big stuff in this, so let's go right into it. I'm referring to my computer here. Now, the source themselves has been verified by the people that have been posting this up as being part of a major retail outlet that's going to hold the NX in stores for people to go buy it. They haven't obviously named the actual retail outlet themselves, but my guess it could be any one of the big guys. It could be Best Buy, it could be Target, it could be Toys R Us. I don't think it's GameStop, to be totally honest with you guys, because for obvious dumb reasons, but it could be any one of the bigger outlets on here. But from what they've said, based on information they've kind of confirmed and double confirmed, a lot of this stuff is definitely true. It's coming from a person that's really going to know about a lot of this stuff. But let's dive right into it. There's a lot of different things in here to unpack, including marketing, including price point, including launch titles, a lot of big stuff. Let's go right into this. So now the first bunch of points that they bring up here is the marketing of the Nintendo NX. Currently, at the time that I'm making this vlog here, we don't have an official date for any sort of Nintendo Direct talking about the NX, and as far as what Nintendo said in any sort of official capacity, we could expect the console in March of next year, around the springtime, March, April or such. However, ever since then, again, since I went back over to E3 this past June, we haven't really heard anything except for a couple of vague statements from various different interviews and such. But according to them here, okay, number one, they have posters, they have packaging, they have all these different stuff. On the poster for the Nintendo NX, it says, interact with your game on the go. That seems to be the phrase that Nintendo's going with that's part of the main marketing. That's going to be in like all your different GameStops and stuff. This matches up with a lot of the different information and rumors that we've been hearing for quite some time about the Nintendo NX. Again, being able to blend portable gaming and home console gaming together to have an awesome gaming experience on the go or at home. That's pretty damn cool. Seems to be matching up with everything else. There's going to be a strong co-branding effort with a Mario launch title on many posters. Now, this is a twofold type of thing because it would be awesome if the Nintendo NX had a Mario game at launch alongside of it, okay? As well as, you have other titles like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and possibly any other titles that are coming out. But a Mario game is definitely significant because that would be a huge, huge deal. Now, the other side of this, in which I believe is more the case, this is just Nintendo using Mario, one of their characters, to show off the Nintendo NX. I don't know if necessarily there is a Mario title at launch. Would be dope, would totally make sense. We've had that in the recent past. I believe it's the Nintendo 3DS that had Super Mario 3D Land at launch, as well as also, I believe it was Super Mario 3D World with the Nintendo Wii U. Again, there was a couple other, different titles here and there, but that would make a lot of sense. But even if that's not the case, we still might get some awesome launch titles, which we'll get into later on. But still, that's what one of the posters is showing us. Now, the console is set to launch with at least 4 titles on deck. Okay, so 4 titles around the launch window of the Nintendo NX. If you include this Mario title, that's 1, okay? Then you got The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is also coming to the Nintendo NX, which seems to be the case that it might be coming around the same time frame as when the Nintendo NX launches. A lot of people have also talked about a Metroid game. Since obviously we had Metroid Prime Federation Force not too long ago, the big rumor that's been circulating and the big discussion that's been circulating for quite some time, even before I went to E3, was that we will be getting a Metroid title on the NX around the launch time. Again, maybe it'll come afterwards, we don't know. Again, there isn't a lot of official confirmations on the stuff, but that seems to be maybe a third possible title. Now, the 4th one, I'm not so sure. It could be anything at this point. It could be third party for all we know, because I know we got a bunch of third parties that seem to be on board with the Nintendo NX, including Ubisoft. Maybe a Ubisoft title is getting developed for the NX. Maybe that Sonic, 2017 title that Sega was talking about not too long ago. Again, they did have the NX logo that was on there, so that may be possibly our 4 titles that we will be getting around the launch of the NX. Again, I almost burped. But those might be our 4 titles that we might be getting on the NX. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, and Sonic. possibly, or again, maybe obligatory Ubisoft title. Those might be our 4 games around the launch start of the NX. We don't know. Hopefully, Nintendo lets us know what's going down very, very soon, because the next point that they're talking about, the base price point for the console itself is $299.99. This is a good price point, to be totally honest with you guys. It's more expensive, obviously, than a new Nintendo 3DS. What I think is that once this price point is set in the consoles coming out, the original Wii U, or at least the Wii U itself, is going to go down in price some point. Maybe go down to that $199 mark, if not the the $250 mark. I don't know. Possibly that could happen. But I feel $299 seems to be a good, nice price point for a lot of people out there. Which leads into the next set of points. Bundles, which is, I think, is a very important thing. Bundles, right? The Nintendo NX is currently going to have a bundle option. Now, as far as the contents of the bundle themselves, they also mentioned nobody knows what's going to be inside of it. Obviously, it's going to be the console itself. Obviously, it's going to be the games themselves. But we don't know exactly what will be inside of it as far as like what game it's going to be or anything else that might be included in it. Could be another controller option. Could be any sort of like extra DLC. Could be any other sort of like, hardware components that will be included with the console themselves that maybe might not be in the base model at the $299 price point. Because the price point for the bundle itself, according to the next point, is going to be $399. Now, again, that's a $100 price point jump, okay? I would assume that you will get a game included with it, whatever game it might be. Maybe it's the Mario game that's included with the game, with the console itself, but there has to be something else to kind of make up for that extra $40. I don't think like it's just going to be $40 just jumped on top of that like that. There has to be other stuff that's included with it. Now, let's get into the packaging, which is starting to get some real juicy stuff about the Nintendo NX. Again, I have to reiterate through this video, a lot of this stuff is still alleged, it's still considered rumors, even though this information is being verified by a lot of their sources and they're double and triple verifying it and stuff. We still have to acknowledge that we have no official statement from Nintendo themselves, despite this coming from a big retail outlet or a retail partner. So the packaging of the Nintendo NX, okay? Nintendo NX will have a slightly larger package than the Wii U's packaging. So, in my opinion, I was expecting this to be the complete opposite. I figured that it would be smaller because if the Nintendo NX is a hybrid console and it's going to be, blending home and portable gaming on the go, I would expect it to be a smaller console, not be so bulky or anything of the sort. But if it's bigger than the Wii U's packaging, that means that either the console itself or the thing that you put at home might be a little bit wider, or maybe they're doing the packaging a little bit different, or there might be more stuff included with the Nintendo NX itself that will make it a much more bigger package to put in retail shelves, more so than the Wii U. Now, the packaging is relatively clean and simple and similar to the Wii U in terms of the package design. That's expected. You want consistency amongst all your platforms and stuff if you're a major console manufacturer. The next point that they have in there, the color scheme of the packaging is white and blue. Very similar to the Wii U's packaging. If you've ever gone into a GameStop, right? Or any sort of like big retail outlet, and you notice the packaging of the Wii U, of the Wii U accessories, some of the games and stuff, it's always been white and blue. This is weird because some of the other newer stuff that I'm seeing for some of the newer Nintendo games coming out now seems to be red and white, not blue and white. It's just really weird to me, and I know that there's been some changes and shifts in the direction with Nintendo's marketing, but maybe that's just keeping consistency with the Wii U environment, letting everybody know that this is all related somehow. I don't know, but it does sound like it's still going to be clean, it's going to be simple, it sounds like it's going to be cool. Now, the packaging still says NX, however there is no indication if this is a placeholder or the final name. Now here's the weird thing about this, and this matches up to the stuff that we saw in the Sonic Project 2017 trailer, where they still just said NX in the trailer. Now, could be Sega just trying to have a placeholder in there, and that could be changed later on, but all indications seem to point that this is still going to be called the NX. That at least that's still the code name or whatnot. No official name or official name change or anything of the sort. If you guys remember, for quite some time, I believe it was the Wii or the Wii U that was called, no, it was the Wii, that was called Project Revolution for a long time, and it sounded awesome, and they kept that right to the very last second to when they revealed the console, and then they changed it to the Wii. I feel like this could also be the same thing. I don't think that the console itself is going to be called NX, unless NX means something specific to it, like that. Now, besides that, loud noise outside, there's a bunch of, planes and stuff, because we're talking about the NX, the Nintendo ninjas are coming. But either way, here's another point that I want to kind of like bring home to you guys that's on here. The areas of the packaging that would usually depict the hardware were blurred and redacted by Nintendo in an attempt to keep it hidden. That's obvious. They obviously don't want a lot of the stuff that's getting out, even though it's still kind of getting out at this point. I'm surprised because there isn't a lot of any sort of information out there that really shows any sort of scheme or like layout or blueprint of what the NX console looks like. Nintendo's been really kind of like keeping this one close to the chest. Now, that could mean a number of different things. It can mean that they have something really special that's really going to change the way that we look at both portable and console gaming, or they have nothing and they're really trying to keep it very close to the chest right to the last second, so that way when we get that reaction of it, it'll only be that negative reaction right at the moment that they actually, people start buying it and stuff, rather than all this bad publicity leading up to it. I don't know. Again, hopefully we get a Nintendo Direct at some point soon. Now, features and specs. This is some big news. Some of the stuff in here has already been disconfirmed and stuff, but there is some stuff that is confirmed according to them. Now, games will be on cartridges. Now, this is something we've heard for quite a while at this point. There are cartridges with the Nintendo 3DS. They're going to be moving to cartridges for the Nintendo NX. They're not going to be disc anymore like the Wii and the Wii U. This still is consistent throughout all the information that's come out about this console. It's been all over the place here and there. Seems to be matching up, seems legit at this point. So we could expect to get Nintendo NX cartridges, maybe if they're like, that big or something, a little bit bigger than a Nintendo 3DS cartridge. Who knows at this point? Now, the second has complete verification has been busted. Okay, so then there's been another thing that's been busted or whatnot. 4K streaming has been mentioned, okay? What this likely means is a playback of content such as Netflix, etc., not gameplay. So this seems to be a consistent thing not only between this console, the NX, but also you see it on other consoles as well, as like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 Pro stuff, where the games aren't going to be running at like native 4K like that. It's going to be really supportive with just streaming, or streaming, movies and like, TV shows through services like Netflix, Hulu, whatever, like that. That sounds pretty cool, especially if you're just going to be using Nintendo products and you don't have any other console, but you still want to watch Netflix. That sounds pretty dope. Now, 1080p 60 frames per second are listed in the marketing teams in relation to gameplay on the console portion. I've heard unconfirmed rumblings for 900p for the infamous hybrid part of the console device. Okay, so obviously, home console version, or at least home console capabilities, 1080p 60 frames per second, that's been talked about. That seems to be the standard now for most next generation consoles. But the 900p part, which I'm guessing is like when you're on the go and you're playing the game in, I guess you could say, like portable mode or like, handheld mode and stuff, 900p is still not that bad. That's pretty much almost on par with the Xbox One, or at least close to it in some capacity. But having that on the go as a handheld portion of the console itself seems pretty good. I'd be curious to see like what the games are going to look like. Again, a Mario title, a Metroid title, Breath of the Wild being the biggest one, at least as far as games that we know that are coming to the NX. How that's going to look on the handhelds in 900p compared obviously to the console, which the console home portion is going to look better. But even on the go, how that's going to look, it'll be much better than what we get on the PlayStation Vita, and obviously much better than what we get on the Nintendo 3DS. So overall, those are all the different portions of information related to this leak with the Nintendo NX. This seems like to be the most, meaty of the rumors that have been going around as far as like information that's being sourced and reconfirmed and stuff like that. It seems to be coming from a source that seems really legit as far as a group of people, or at least an individual or a place, a source that would have this type of information, rather than stuff like, from the Foxconn, hardware developers and people that are out in other countries that are working with the console themselves as far as like tangibly and like that. A little bit different than what we've been seeing with the PlayStation 4 Slim and the PlayStation 4 Pro and whatnot. But overall, I'm curious to see what you guys think about this information related to the Nintendo NX, as far as all these rumors, as far as the price point specifically, launch titles. Let me know what you guys think as far as what the launch titles are going to be. Put all this in the comment section below. Leave me a comment with all this information. Comment on everything related to the Nintendo NX and what you guys think is going to go down with this console. Hopefully, we get some sort of confirmation from Nintendo themselves about an actual release date, as far as, an actual Nintendo Direct that talks about all this stuff, because we're getting very close. If all this stuff matches up, right, and the consoles, or at least stores, are expecting the demo units around February, which is one of the points that they had there that I mentioned earlier, okay? If all these things are going to be coming around February for the actual stores, they might be hitting that actual release point for March or April, depending on it. And if it gets delayed, it'll be later on into the year towards the holiday season of 2017. But that's a very big deal. What makes it an even bigger deal is that Nintendo still hasn't talked about it in any official capacity just yet. Hopefully that changes very, very soon. A lot of information is starting to come out. Looks like Nintendo's prepping for some big announcements at some point. Who knows? Hopefully they talk about it in some capacity. But either way, guys, that's just my thoughts on the matter. Again, leave me a comment down below what you guys think about the Nintendo NX. Don't forget to leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the Gamers with Gains channel for all my videos related to gaming, stronger living, news, all this different types of stuff. And don't forget, guys, I'm streaming every single day on Twitch TV, playing a variety of different video games, playing a whole bunch of cool stuff. I played Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, the closed beta, with everybody. Played some Pokken Tournament not too long ago. Played Modern Warfare Remastered with everybody. I'm going to be playing more of that as the multiplayer opens up. And I got even more big surprises coming over the horizon. I will talk to all of you guys again very soon. Peace out. Stay epic, everybody.